Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Erin and today's video is all about a welcome to sewing box starter kit-esque thing that I am going to send to my best friend because she is going to get started sewing soon. She has a machine all picked out and she wants to start working on some projects. So I decided to put together just a small box of some most used items, basic notions, some useful things to have around that she doesn't have because she is getting started from scratch. So when I started sewing, I was like 9 or 10. My mom taught me, and over the years, she has gifted me and given me things as she replaced her own items or as she found extras. So I never had to start from scratch with sewing, which I really appreciate. Even a bunch of like my fabric stash has come from my mom. Which has made it a lot more accessible for me. With most hobbies, when you're getting started, there is kind of that initial buy-in, both in effort and time and financially. You have to get some stuff to get started, just to do basic projects. You need things. So I have some stuff in there, mostly relating to getting her started. They do sell pre-made kits, in hobby and sewing stores. They have, different colors of thread, a pair of scissors, a pin cushion, a tape measure, some basics like that. But I just felt like they were potentially a little cheaply made, and like, who's using those little things of thread? Maybe I've used them before if I need to hand sew something or mend something on the go, but like, really, who is using those little tiny guys of thread? I don't know. She is getting a machine to sew with. So I just wanted to pick some things that would be a little more aimed at her and starting her journey so that she can get going and get practicing when she gets her machine without having to break right into an official project, because that can be kind of a lot of pressure, I feel like. I'm going to go ahead and get started going through the box. Some of these items were suggestions from you guys, from my viewers. I asked in a couple Friday Sews videos, and I had a lot of people say I should include a tape measure and a little kit for her. So I've included those things because they're great ideas. So thank you so much to everyone that commented on my videos, leaving ideas. This has really been a group effort. In no particular order, I have 2 cuts of interfacing, midweight fusible and lightweight fusible. Those are the 2 that I use most frequently, and they were recently on sale, so I got myself a big cut and I'm sending her portion of it. Next, I have a small stack of some knit fabrics for her to practice with. I don't want her to have to spend money or go find things to practice on. I remember learning to sew and just sitting next to my mom using her scraps and practicing sewing straight lines, quarter inch seam. She's primarily a quilter. And so I just would sit there and practice with her. So I wanted to kind of give my friend some different types of fabric to practice on, and then just a decent amount to where she could, put some together, feel what it's like to have a thicker pile of fabric and how to work with that and things like that. So I just have a couple different types of knits. I have like a cotton jersey in here, this sweatshirt, a Liverpool knit, just a couple things like that for her to practice. And then I labeled things for her just so she was like, why is there a Ziploc bag of scraps in here? Next, I have something similar, a Ziploc baggie of quilting cotton. They're not really scraps. They are varying sized cuts. These, though, I included, because it's just really good fabric to practice on because it's easy to sew with. But see, like pretty good sized. These are the same ones that I used to make her some little kits to practice. I keep saying practice. Gave her some little kits as starter projects. I printed out the instructions for a zippered pouch with a boxed bottom that is lined. I think I'm actually going to send this to her to show her what the result is, and then she can put her notions in it. So this is also going to her. I sewed it up using the instructions, and then I kind of put notes on it. The tutorial that I printed out is from Scattered Thoughts of a Crafty Mom. I'll link it down below. And then also I told her to look up the Dizzy Quilts and Sews zippered pouch tutorial. She did one a year ago or so. She has, Izzy has a zippered pouch tutorial that has very similar steps. So if she wants like a video more visually to go along with it, that is good. And yeah, I went through and I annotated kind of things I thought she might not know, or things that might not make a ton of sense if it is your first time sewing something. For example, it has you trim the zipper pouch seam edges to about a scant 1/4 inch. And like, I don't expect her to know what a scant 1/4 inch is when she's never sewn before. So I wrote in like it's a little, like a hair less than a 1/4 inch. Just so that can make a little more sense. There are 3 sizes of zippered pouch for that tutorial. I cut 2 of them. I cut the smallest and the largest. I did not do the medium. So here's the large. I cut the 2 pieces for the outside, 2 pieces for the inside, and then 2 pieces of mid-weight fusible interfacing, which is what the tutorial has you use. You can use fusible fleece, something with a little more body and structure, but I just wanted to go with what I made and what the tutorial said to do. So all of those pieces are already cut for her. And then I included the zipper she needs for that size and coordinating thread. I mean, it's not, white doesn't exactly coordinate, but I am sending her a white and a black, so she has one of each. So that is the large. Here's the medium. Same thing. This one's a really pretty magnolia pattern. I don't know. This is the small one. Same thing. Everything is in there ready to go. That one has the black thread. Then I gave her just a couple interfacing scraps. So I gave her those big cuts of interfacing, but a lot of patterns, not a lot, but basically any patterns that use like a buttonhole or have a small area where you need interfacing won't tell you that you need interfacing. It'll just be in the pattern because they assume if you sew, you have scraps, which once she breaks into these larger pieces, she will, but I just thought it would be nice to send her some good size scraps that are already kind of ready to go for those purposes, so she already has them and doesn't have to cut in to her larger pieces. Now we are into notions. The most common suggestion in the comments was a tape measure, which I for some reason didn't think of. I guess I just assumed everyone has one, but people don't, at least not a flexible sewing one. So a tape measure, some pins. I got her quilting pins. They're just the little bit longer, and I use them for quilting and sewing, and it's absolutely fine. I did want to get her clips. I really like my little clips. They're Wonder Clips. I think Clover makes clips too. I haven't picked any up yet. They were out of a reasonable size of them when I went to Joann's last week. They had, I think, like a 50 count, which I just felt like was a little bit of overkill, but I'm still gonna look around for those because I use clips and pins for different purposes. So it's really nice to have both. And to put the zipper into that pouch, I did prefer to use clips. An ergonomic seam ripper. I have a very similar one. I have a similar one. Mine is Clover. This one's a lot bigger, but I like the shape of it. I have a couple seam rippers because you set them down, you need multiple. I think you need multiple. So this is just a starter one for her, but I liked the rounded shape of it. Thread snips, I use mine all the time. Actually, tracing wheel. This was Adam's suggestion. My husband, Adam, he is really into my tracing wheel for some reason. He's always like, oh, the tracing wheel. And when I was talking to him about this idea, he said, well, you use your tracing wheel a lot. Would that be a good idea? And she does potentially want to make garments. She's kind of like wants to try a little bit of everything, which I think makes total sense for starting a hobby as potentially broad as sewing, there are a lot of ways you can take it, and you can do it all if you want to. So tracing wheel and then wax-free tracing paper. I do use this to transfer my like darts and some markings and stuff like that. So I'm sending that to her. And the final thing is probably one of my most used notions, a seam gauge. I use mine all of the time. Just having the sliding gauge on it, or sliding marker on it, is so useful. Like if I need to just check how big something is, I keep it in the little caddy next to my machine, and I can pull that out way easier than a ruler if I just want to kind of see what something is, make sure things are equidistant. Anyway, so I use mine a ton. This was a must-have in the box. That is everything that's going in the box. If I can find a reasonably priced, reasonably sized container of clips, I will throw those in before I send it. But other than that, that's everything I'm including. It's not a ton. I didn't want to overwhelm her and be like, here's an entire sewing room in a box. Go forth. Because it is a new hobby. She is starting. I don't know if she's going to like it. I really, really hope she does. But if it's not her thing, it's not her thing. I just wanted to be encouraging. It's something that I get so much joy out of. I know so many other people get a lot of joy out of it. So I just wanted to give her some things to get started and kind of show her how excited I am for her to potentially become a sewist. If you have any suggestions for other things that people could include in a box like this for a beginning sewist, please leave them in the comments. I know I'm interested to hear what other ideas people have, and I'm sure if someone comes across this video because they are putting together a box like this, they would also like to know those ideas. So thank you so much for watching today. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, I hope you consider subscribing and sticking around for more videos from me. I would love to chat with you in the comments, and I will see you next time.